What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to the Liverpool-Leipzig post-match analysis video. Liverpool, Leipzig were the host team and Liverpool smashed them 5-0. And Leipzig are one of the best teams in Germany. They will be title contenders in the Bundesliga. And they won the German Cup last season as well. And Liverpool, in their own stadium, smashed them 5-0 with an absolutely brilliant performance. But Darwin Nunez, the new striker of Liverpool, scored 4 goals in the one half. He only came on in the second half. He scored 2 goals in 3 minutes at the beginning of the second half. And this was a finishing masterclass from Darwin Nunez. And in this video, we will talk in detail about the new formation and the new, more direct approach that Liverpool will use this season to get the best out of Darwin Nunez. I said many times when Darwin Nunez signed for Liverpool that Jurgen Klopp will tweak the system to get the best out of Darwin Nunez because he is a traditional striker, a traditional number 9 with brilliant finishing. And I don't see the haters anymore on Twitter piping up about how awful Darwin Nunez is. They went awfully quiet, the rival fans and also some knee-jerk Liverpool fans who like to get very reactionary. I mean, Darwin Nunez played like 45 or maybe 50, 60 minutes of pre-season football and people, I mean before this game, and people were judging him like he's the worst striker, like he's the new Andy Carroll at Liverpool. Well, you guys who said that probably should not judge of 2 very like low minute pre-season performances, because I'm not judging Darwin Nunez on this game either. I just knew that he is a brilliant finisher. You don't score more than 30 goals for Benfica. You don't score 6 goals in the Champions League in 10 games unless you are a great finisher. And I just kicked my desk, sorry about that. So Salah took the lead after brilliant play for Bobby Firmino. And I think actually Jurgen Klopp started the game with the starting lineup that Liverpool will probably start the season with. So Firmino, Salah and Luis Diaz was up front. Konate was partnering Van Dijk. And I think Liverpool will try to be more direct in their approach. But first, I think when Bobby Firmino plays, Liverpool can play the traditional system, which is like Liverpool's comfort zone. But also against some other teams where it's needed, Liverpool will start with Darwin Nunez up top. And I might be inclined to say maybe even Liverpool will start with Darwin Nunez up front in the first game of the season, depending on how Darwin Nunez does in the rest of pre-season. Also, very intriguing, the Community Shield final. Do Liverpool experiment in that game, or do Jurgen Klopp go with their strongest lineup? What is Liverpool's strongest lineup, by the way? Let me know in the comments below, because there is still some debate in that. I think in Liverpool's strongest lineup, probably Naby Keita, Thiago and Fabinho plays. And you can argue whether Naby Keita should be substituted for Henderson. I think against the bigger teams, probably Henderson should play because he offers more defensive solidity. But against the smaller sides, Naby Keita's brilliant dribbling skills, ball carrying skills could be more beneficial. And also Salah finished the first move off ruthlessly. Brilliant play between Salah and Firmino. And Salah does that little shimmy which totally unbalances my fellow countryman, Hungarian goalkeeper Gulácsi, who is, a brilliant goalkeeper, but he actually gave the ball away before Liverpool's first goal. It's not really, a big error from him, because he actually passes the ball to the halfway line where just Van Dijk just dominates the Leipzig player. And Liverpool were 1-0 up at halftime. Salah brilliantly slots it home. But also Leipzig had a couple of good chances. Adrian actually made some really impressive saves. And then Liverpool made only 4 changes at halftime. I really like that this time Liverpool didn't really change the whole starting 11. And Luis Diaz was cleaned out by the substitute goalkeeper who was signed from a Dutch small team, Hercules, and Gulácsi wasn't on the pitch anymore. And this substitute goalkeeper clattered Luis Diaz, and Darwin Nunez steps up. And the goalkeeper almost saved his penalty. It was a really good, really strong penalty, but the goalkeeper tips it onto the post and it went in. But then a few minutes later, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who goes so far up the pitch, assists Darwin Nunez, and I think this combination we will see a lot during the season. Trent Alexander-Arnold assisting Darwin Nunez, because I think Trent will love a traditional striker who is very big, very tall in the air, and who can also head the ball. Also, Bajcetic was involved in the third goal. He also came on as a substitute, 68 minutes. He slips in Harvey Elliott, who gets a brilliant assist. He slips in Darwin Nunez, very awesome assist, and Darwin Nunez toe pokes the finish into the far corner. So he gets a hat-trick after 2 very quick goals. He gets the third one, and he could have scored 5 goals because he actually had a bullet header which the goalkeeper saved quite brilliantly. By the way, Bajcetic, who came on as a substitute, high-pressed the Leipzig player and stole the ball off him. He basically pickpocketed him, and then he slipped in Harvey Elliott, who slipped in Darwin Nunez. And then, Darwin Nunez had a bullet header saved by the goalkeeper brilliantly. And then Darwin Nunez, after being slipped in by Fabio Carvalho after a quick counter-attack, scores the 5th goal, but it was also a Leipzig goalkeeping error. But still, you have to, shoot on target, and that's when you have a chance. By the way, what a fantastic piece of skill by Fabio Carvalho. No wonder some people are already confirming him to Philippe Coutinho. He actually flicks the ball with his head towards the left wing channel, completely bamboozles his defender, completely gets him down. That's the Portuguese flair that you love to see from these kind of players. And Carvalho then slips in Darwin Nunez, who finishes it off. 5-0 Liverpool win. Maybe it was a little bit harsh on Leipzig on the first half performance, but the second half Liverpool were completely dominant, and we actually had so many really awesome attacking plays. And I also want to talk about the new very direct approach. So it's essentially the formation won't change that much, but sometimes it will be a 4-2-3-1 setup. Essentially the idea is to have different players having different angles of passes into the path of Darwin Nunez, so we can isolate Darwin Nunez with the defenders, or just find him with dangerous balls into dangerous areas. So from the deep left side of the midfield, Thiago can supply balls to Darwin Nunez. From the deep right area, Trent Alexander-Arnold can supply balls. Also Virgil van Dijk can hit those long diagonal balls that Liverpool and Van Dijk are so famous for. Also on the high end of the pitch, Fabio Carvalho or Harvey Elliott or whoever plays there, they can supply with different balls from different angles into the path of Darwin Nunez. And also from the wide right wing, Mo Salah can also supply Darwin Nunez. From the wide left, and Luis Diaz can supply Darwin Nunez with balls. And also Diaz could act sometimes as a decoy or as a secondary striker. And also in theory, and I would love Liverpool to try this, we could play a 4-2-3-1 formation from the beginning in that we only deploy 2 midfielders, so Thiago and Fabinho, or Henderson and Fabinho. And then we could play Mo Salah on the right, Luis Diaz on the left, Darwin Nunez up front, and Bobby Firmino in behind Darwin Nunez. I would love to see that formation against some of the smaller teams. Maybe once Liverpool can practice this during the season, I would love to see that. And I think Darwin Nunez in very tight, very close games where Liverpool are playing against teams who park the bus, who defend with 2 banks of 4, or who defend basically with all 11 players, Darwin Nunez could unlock those defenses with his runs, with his physicality. I mean, there will be 2 or 3 centre-backs marking Darwin Nunez at all times, because he's such a big unit and you just can't leave him open, and that will leave more space for Mo Salah, more space for Luis Diaz, more space for some midfielders to run onto, Naby Keita, Thiago, Fabio Carvalho, Harvey Elliott. I mean, Liverpool have so many attacking options, and also having 5 substitutes in the Premier League will be invaluable for Liverpool, because we can change the game. We can basically change the whole attacking lineup almost with 5 substitutions. So it will be fascinating how Jurgen Klopp uses this to Liverpool's advantage. And you can't help but feel that when Fabio Carvalho plays, he's being so similar in his movement, his skill set, his playing style to Philippe Coutinho. Of course, they are not the same player, but you just can't help but feel that many Liverpool fans will feel like Fabio Carvalho's movement reminds us of Philippe Coutinho, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, to be honest. You can't really judge players in pre-season. I always say if a player joins Liverpool, judge him after his full first season. And if he has a disastrous season and he's still a young player, I would even give him a second season to prove himself. But to judge a player after like 2 15-20 minutes cameos in pre-season, or 2 30-minute cameos in pre-season, because that's what Liverpool and some Liverpool fans and most rival fans actually judge Darwin Nunez on 2 bit part pre-season performances. And also you can't go too overboard, because now Darwin Nunez, if he scores 4 goals in one half, you expect him to be like the best striker the world has ever seen. That's not true either. So just give Darwin Nunez time, be patient with him. But of course, this is always very, very good that a striker scores goals in pre-season. It will give his confidence an even bigger boost. Not that he needs any more confidence, because Darwin Nunez is a confident boy, and I think Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool team will do absolutely everything to get the best out of Darwin Nunez. So I'm not worried about that at all. I'm really excited about the Salzburg game. Liverpool will play that in a week's time, and then we will already have our first competitive game, the Community Shield final against Man City. Then we play one day later at Anfield against Strasbourg, and then a week later we play Fulham in our opening Premier League game. So the season is getting closer and closer. I'm really, really excited about this. And also from tomorrow, FIFA 22 videos are coming almost every single day. I'm working very hard to record and edit and upload the videos in advance on FIFA 22 career mode, so be excited about that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.